Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are incredibly pleased to welcome back Moses for the fourth part of our interview series with Moses. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, so last week we talked about the Exodus. I see you have tablets this week. We're going to talk about the Ten Commandments.
I do. These aren't the originals. This is my travel set. The originals are a little big, a little heavy to carry around.
Excellent. So, Moses, so we talk a lot about the Ten Commandments, fundamental part of our faith. Is there something that prompted the Ten Commandments?
Oh, absolutely. So you'll remember last week I told you that there were a lot of us on our journey. Mm-hmm. Some say 600,000.
Sure.
And as you can imagine, with that many people wandering around, there were some disputes, some arguments, some not getting along.
And how were those disputes handled?
Well, so originally, what happened was the people would get in an argument and they would think, hey, Moses talks to God, God talks to Moses. If we go talk to Moses, he'll talk to God, figure out what the answer is, God will tell us, all will be well. So they all came to me.
Okay, and but then what happened after that? Was there a better system?
So yeah, it got to the point where I was spending all day doing nothing but resolving petty disputes for people. And so my father-in-law, Jethro, he came up with this idea, and it's not too different from the judicial system you have today, where he had me find some trustworthy men and appoint them to be judges, and they would hear most of the disputes. The minor ones without ever having to come to me, and then the major ones they would send to me.
Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? All right, so is this where your tablets come into play?
Absolutely. So after a while it became obvious that we needed to know like what the rules actually were. And so God called myself and Aaron came too. We went up on Mount Sinai, and he wrote down, these 10 really basic rules. 10 commandments. 4 of them are kind of about our relationship with God, and the other 6 are about our relationship with the people around us.
Okay. So, Moses, learning these 10 commandments is pretty foundational to all of our faith. It's actually part of the reason why you're here. We're teaching 10 commandments to Sunday school children today. So we often, though, get so caught up in the language, the biblical language, that we don't think about the actual meaning. So I'm wondering if I could read you the 10 commandments as written in Exodus from God, if you could maybe give us a modern day translation of them.
I can certainly try.
Okay, perfect. Here we go. All right, so this is right out of chapter 20 in Exodus. So, okay, the first commandment is, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me.
Oh, that's easy. There is only one God.
Okay. You shall not make for yourself an idol, whether in the form of anything that is in heaven above, or that is on the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them.
Okay, this one's a little trickier. All this means is you shouldn't make something else be more important than God. God is the most important thing.
Okay. You shall not make wrongful use of the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not acquit anyone who misuses his name.
This one. So God's name is very special, and in fact, we often don't say it out loud, but this is just a reminder that God's name is special, and we should treat it with reverence.
Okay. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. You shall not do any work.
So this one is just about remembering to take time to rest and recover, and taking a Sabbath to worship God. So for you guys, that's Sunday, and you just remember to set that day aside and use it properly.
Okay. Honor your father and your mother, so that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you.
I think this one's pretty self-explanatory. You're supposed to respect your parents.
You shall not murder.
Again, this one, it's pretty obvious. You shouldn't kill things. It's bad.
All right. You shall not commit adultery.
Partners should be faithful to each other.
Okay. You shall not steal.
Stealing's bad. Just your own stuff is your own. You don't need other people's stuff.
You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor.
That's a fancy way of saying, don't lie.
Okay. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, male or female slave, ox, donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor.
That's kind of long-winded, but really it's about being content with what you have, with what God gave you. You don't need the things that God gave to somebody else. You don't need to be jealous about other people's things. Just be content with what you have.
Okay. Well, Moses, I want to thank you for spending another Sunday with us. Next week, I am going to take you on site to a place that's special in Wisconsin, and we're going to talk about being lost in the wilderness a little bit.
I spent some time lost in the wilderness.
Yes.
That's another good story.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you so much.